Well, good morning. Welcome to Wake Up in the Word. As you can see, the sun is really shining in through even through the blinds this morning. Going to be a beautiful day here in South Carolina. But we are in day number 5 of looking forward to the promise from First Peter chapter 2. Come and join me as we look at it together. Before we do, let me shout out to Basil and Betty McDougall. It was great to talk to you guys on the phone yesterday. Appreciate you watching and taking part in this ministry. Dear friends from South Georgia, from the Valdosta area where we were busy planting the Perimeter Old Baptist Church and other church ministries and working for years and have so many good friends there to this day. So God bless you and help us today as we look forward to the promise to grasp what in the world we're supposed to do with that great salvation that Peter talked about in chapter 1. He said there we were purchased not with the uh, perishable things. We redeemed from our old way of life, not with things like silver or gold, but with the precious blood of Christ, a lamb without blemish or defect. What a beautiful picture of how important it is for us to recognize the source of our salvation, that Christ gave his precious blood so that you and I could be saved. But once we are saved, there's some things you need to get rid of. Now, around our house right now, we're trying to declutter, get rid of some things that perhaps we don't have room for, taking them down to the Big Grab yard sale fundraiser for this September with our youth and trying to help them raise some money, but just get rid of some stuff in our house. Anybody got clutter, things that you have kept way too long? Well, that's kind of what Peter is saying today. There's some clutter in your life you need to get rid of, and this is a whole lot worse than something that might just be collecting dust and mold in your closet. This is something that clutters up your spirit and can be damaging to your soul. So in chapter 2, verse 1, he writes, "Therefore rid yourself of all malice and all deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and slander of every kind." We should know what those words are, but sometimes we just run over them and don't recognize how important it is to understand definitions. If Peter is saying, get rid of these things, then what do they really mean? Well, first he says get rid of malice, which is defined as an intention or desire to do evil. But most of the time, that's also a personal problem. It's a personal desire to cause pain or injury or distress to another. It also has a second meaning, which is an intent to commit an unlawful act or cause harm without justification. As Webster's dictionary defines that, we say, wow, that's what we see a lot of in society today. Those who are really willing to do something that's evil, even against other people if it advances their cause. The second thing he says to get rid of there is deceit. What is deceit? Again, most of us would say, oh, I know what that is. Well, it's the act of causing someone to accept as true or valid that which is false or invalid. Now, think about that for just a minute. Trying to intentionally, as we would say, pull the wool over someone's eyes to make them believe a lie because it will just advance your cause or whatever you're promoting, or perhaps allow you win win the cause, win the case, win the sporting event or something else. Anything to deceive so that we can be advanced. Deceit. And then there's the word hypocrisy. This is the practice of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs to which one's own behavior does not conform. Pretense. We think of this especially as we've looked at what has happened during the COVID-19 crisis. We can spot it, especially when in a mayor, a governor, or someone else, they say, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't get a haircut, can't go to church, you can't go to certain stores, you can't even buy a seed, you can't. And then they turn around and do all the things they just told you can't do. In other words, I'm going to make some laws, I'm going to make some decrees, but I'm not going to live up to those. I'm going to live entirely opposite lifestyle. That is hypocrisy. But that's especially damaging regardless of where you are and what kind of situation that you are in. If you are in church, in a community, in a family, and you're living a hypocritical life, you're saying, I believe one thing, but I'm going to do another. My lifestyle doesn't match what I say I believe. And what does that do to those people who are trying to follow your life as an example? You're not only living as a hypocrite, you're teaching others to be one as well. The next word is envy. What is envy? It's a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or even luck. I think we as believers would go even farther than that. We'd say it could be aroused by God, even blessing another person. That means you look at that person that, let's say, just your neighbor just got that new car and it's sitting in their driveway. It's beautiful and shiny and pretty. And all of a sudden you feel like, oh, I'd love to have a new car. I can't afford a new car. And I am so angry that they are able to have a nice new shiny car and I can't have one. It causes problems. It makes you feel badly toward them. Suddenly you're angry at them for no reason, just because they've been perhaps blessed with something that you wish you had, but you can't have. It causes you then to not be content with what you've got, may even make you, as a response, go out and do something stupid like buy a new car that you can't afford at the time and put your family into financial distress and bust your budget. See, it's not enough just to recognize that sin is evil, but you have to recognize the domino effect of sin in your life is that it causes, if you let it stay there and fester, it causes a pattern of sin in your life that will cause more pain and suffering. And then finally is the word slander. Slander is the action or crime of making a false spoken statement damaging to a person's reputation. And it's amazing how this has become almost sport in America today. You don't like somebody, make up a story about them, twist the facts, tell a little half truth over here and connect it with a lie and other things that wouldn't make sense by any responsible act of journalism. But you do that because you don't like this person and they deserve to be attacked and destroyed, whether the facts bear that out or not. It's something that happens now almost constantly in our cancel culture. You can find someone who, it's not maybe even words they spoke within this past year, even. It can be something that they did 30, 40, 50 years ago. And if someone can dig it up, even take it out of context, they can destroy your life, your opportunities for advancement, maybe keep you from getting a promotion, or maybe even cost you your job today because they have this idea of slandering you, probably to make space for themselves so they can take the spot you were denied. Oh, friends, this happens all over today, and it's so damaging that I know some of you may have heard Voddie Baucham's interview about why he's now living for the last few years in Zambia and Africa with his wife and family, all because he was attacked and slandered so badly in the United States that this great minister of God that preached all over the country found that it was safer to move to Africa. Oh, listen, friends, the answer to these five things that'll destroy life, relationships, they'll destroy churches, they'll destroy society. The answer is you got to get rid of these. And to get rid of them effectively, keep in mind, you got to come to Christ first. Come to Jesus, who's going to teach you an entirely different pattern and way of living that's based on love and the best for all people, and not resenting someone else's blessings, but rejoicing in all the blessings of God. And when you live that kind of lifestyle, it'll change you from the inside out. So Peter says, get rid of all these things, get rid of some stuff, and then you need to grow up. So let's put it all together. Therefore, rid yourselves of all malice, all deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and slander of every kind, and like newborn babies, crave pure spiritual milk, so that by it you may grow up in your salvation, now that you have tasted that the Lord is good. So, friends, there's the answer. Come to Christ and grow up. Come to Christ and grow up. We'll have a better church, a better society, a better community. Everything will be better when we do things God's way. God bless you. I'll see you again tomorrow right here as we wake up in the Word.